Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Shorts. We're about to say radio. Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rants. Tommy Chrysan here with you. I am at an undisclosed location presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And Tommy today is joining us, as you can see, as he does on Wednesdays and Fridays, joins us over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge. Tremonti's the official burger of the Baton Rouge Rougarou. And we got Rougarou sausage at the games that Tremonti's makes. You can't get it anywhere else. They make it. It's got jalapenos, got cheese in it. It's smoked sausage. It's excellent. Check that out at the Rougarou games. And we are, of course, presented by LeBear's Casino all the time. You can go to LeBear's. It's the place to be this weekend for all the super regionals. It's kind of like March Madness. I mean, it was March Madness for real last week with all the regional games. But the super regionals, awesome place. I mean, now we're down to it. 16 teams. I think, what is it, Tommy? Like 12 or 13 of the teams had never won the College World Series. So you got a lot of new blood, new faces that are in there. Some old faces that aren't. Of course, last year, Wake Forest and LSU played some epic matchups in Omaha. They're not there. Going to be back in Omaha. Florida survived in advance. They were the runner-up last year in the National Championship Series against LSU. They went to Oklahoma State, came out of this Stillwater Regional through the losers bracket, and they are going to be playing for a chance to go to the College World Series, but against Clemson. But so LSU baseball news, I wasn't on Wednesday with Tommy. TK filled in. We had the little Rougarou emergency we were dealing with. We'll talk a little LSU baseball on this show, get you caught up. Celtics are up 1-0 in the NBA Finals. And Tommy will tell you about what else is going on in the world of sports. But first, let's kind of recap LSU baseball. And it was fitting that we had 5 LSU baseball players at the Baton Rouge Rougarou game last night. It was Gordon McKernan Get It Done night, and they were Gordon athletes, NIL deals. Pearson, Guidry, Travinsky, Milazzo, and Bear Jones were the 5 LSU players that were there. They were awesome to deal with. They were had a tent set up, a Gordon McKernan tent behind our dugout down the third base line. They signed autographs for like an hour. Had tons of kids. We had over 700 people at the ballpark last night. And we had a lot of AP baseball players. We had MBS was in the house with students. Everybody had a great time, got some autographs, got some pictures. A lot of young little kids, many that were at the ballpark for the very first time. So we hope that they come back out. And then most of them, we heard great feedback, had an awesome time. But talking about LSU baseball and all 5 of those players that we talked about, obviously Guidry's only a sophomore. He's not draft eligible. He'll be back, the relief pitcher. Pearson, I spoke with. He ended up hitting, I think, under 250 on the year. I said, "Hey, you playing summer ball somewhere?" And he said, "No, I'm kind of sticking around waiting for the draft to see what happens with the draft." Okay. So he, I guess he's hopeful that somebody might pop him late because, he wants to play professional baseball. But I got to believe that most likely he'll be back at LSU next year. That's a good thing for the Tigers. If Pearson doesn't just take a couple $1,000s and go play pro ball because he's thinks that's what he's supposed to be doing. Tommy, a guy like him, Josh Pearson, a guy who as a freshman hit .299 with 9 homers and was a freshman All-American, All-SEC freshman, and started 3/4 of that season, to a guy who's struggled offensively. He's had clutch hits and he's been big in moments and all that. But the average is what the average is. It's a 240, 250 hitter his sophomore and junior year. And he's got a chance to come back for his senior year and play with his brother, who's got a younger brother who's going to be a freshman next season. That'd be a pretty cool story. It's kind of like the Doty brothers. They got to play together from Denham Springs High, although, one was a little bit better than the other. This would be pretty cool for the Pearson family. I would think it would take more than a couple $1,000 to go pro to get a chance to do that, to play with your brother for his season at LSU.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. Not everybody gets to do that. And, obviously it's a decision Pearson has to make, but I think my observation is if he came back to LSU, he could maybe raise his stock and become picked somewhere in the 10th to the 15th round. Now it's going to be 18, 19, or 20 if he's even picked, but that's a decision he has to make. But I think the you make a good point. The idea of playing with his brother should be pretty enticing because he's not going to get life-changing money. He's not even going to get a little more than vacation money if he would go pro. So we'll see what happens with that. But it was great to see those guys at the ballpark last night.
Gavin Dugas is a guy, right, who ended up going back for his last season and ended up being a top 10 draft pick. Now, didn't get a lot of money, but still got to be drafted in the top 10 rounds.
And he recently got promoted like from low A to high A. So, so he's climbing the ladder.
Yeah, off to a nice start. And, of course, ended up his senior year getting a chance to play some infield, outfield, you name it. Bear Jones was there last night, 27 homers, I think, this year for LSU. I don't see a scenario where he's back. To me, he's going to be a top 3 round draft pick. He's just too much power, too young. I mean, he reminds me so much of Mark McGwire. I played for the Alaska Anchorage Glacier Pilots, of the Alaskan League, which was the same team that Ben McDonald played on, the same team that Mark McGwire played on after their freshman year in college. I played after my freshman year at LSU. And at the time, that was in the summer of 1991. At the time, Mark McGwire had played for Anchorage, maybe, 8-9 years earlier. And Ben had played, 5 years earlier, let's say. So, they still were being talked about, that Mark McGwire was a superstar in 1991 in Major League Baseball. So guys were always, talking about Mark McGwire. And when I see Bear Jones, he reminds me of a young Mark McGwire. Bigger than Mark McGwire was in college. I mean, if you look at Mark McGwire, he was a skinny guy almost. He didn't become big muscle guy until he got to the pros and might have had a little help. Bear Jones looks like Mark McGwire in 1998 versus Mark McGwire in 1988 or 1984. And look, to be that powerful and and look, the thing that I give him credit on is he made an adjustment as a hitter from his freshman year to his sophomore year. He was a much better hitter as far as swinging at pitches in the strike zone, not being so susceptible to the breaking ball. Like there was an improvement, and and he's only 2 years into college. So if that guy continues on his trajectory, there's no doubt he's going to have a super successful Major League Baseball career. And so I think he's going to be a top 3 round draft pick, and I don't see a scenario where he comes back on, because he's going to get offered a ton of money. Travinsky, obviously, and Milazzo, their eligibility is up. Who else was there that I'm not thinking of? And Guidry. So really out of the 5 that were at the Rougarou game, I think Pearson, obviously Guidry has to come back. I think Pearson's probably the only one that there's a chance comes back. The rest are obviously going with Milazzo and Travinsky. So, but as far as LSU baseball in the future, I feel bad for Brown. He drops the ball. In right field, gets discombobulated on the warning track. That's one of those things that'll, stay with him. I thought about him last night. The third base coach and the pitching coach for the Lake Charles Gumbo Gators was a guy named Barry Manuel. And Barry Manuel was from Mamou, Louisiana, pitched at LSU 1985 to 1987. He was the first Tiger on record to hit 100 miles an hour in the radar gun. Did that at Auburn one year. He pitched, I think, parts of 4 seasons in the major leagues. And Barry was the guy that got pulled in 1987 against Stanford. He was the reliever that got pulled, and then they brought in a young freshman by the name of Ben McDonald, who I think maybe walked or hit a batter and then gave up the homer to Paul Carey, the grand slam, the famous home run to Paul Carey, which at that time was the most famous home run in Omaha before the Warren Morris walk-off homer in 1996. And Ben has talked plenty over the years about how that homer shaped him in his career and how it gave him motivation and how he went through some depression for a few weeks after and all that kind of stuff, but how it made him better in the long run. And Barry was a guy at that time who was not happy with himself. He was not happy at Skip. He didn't want to get pulled in that game. He was their closer. He had some control problems, and Skip grew frustrated and brought in the young Ben McDonald, and obviously it didn't work out. And I thought about that moment, how it was such a big moment for both of those guys for different reasons, and how it changed and helped and shaped their careers moving forward. Brown, the right fielder for LSU, who was the Gatorade Player of the Year out of high school, out of Sulphur the year before, and of course was a pitcher, and who knows if that maybe shows up in the future one day for him again. But I have no doubt that he probably won't ever do that again. He probably will learn from it. He'll be a better outfielder from it. He will take a million fly balls. He will learn how to play the warning track and the wall even better, and to communicate and to feel and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, he's going to go through some pain. He's going to go through some disappointment. That's a play he'll probably think about off and on the rest of his life. But I think, he'll look back years from now, if he goes on to have a very successful career, which he has the ability to do, and he'll look back in that moment, and that'll be a teaching spot.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be a good player for years to come. LSU fans need to be excited about that. Rod, it makes me think back as you were talking. Roger Clemens at the Champions of the Diamond thing that the Sports Hall of Fame put on a couple months ago. He said he tells kids, you're going to suck at baseball. You just got to suck less than everybody else. Well, it sucks that Brown, misplayed the fly ball, but he's going to be better because of that. I totally agree with you.
Jay Johnson, were you surprised at how emotional Jay Johnson was after the regionals? Like, if you watch the press conference and you watch the videos and the pictures and all, like, I mean, bro, he took this hard. I mean, not that any coach doesn't take it hard, but he wore it on his sleeves, his emotion on his sleeves, a lot more than you normally see. This wasn't a super regional. It wasn't Omaha. It wasn't a national championship series. This was a regional on the road. And he was in tears. He was emotional. I mean, you saw that long embrace he and the Polt had in the dugout, where they hugged for, a minute. He was super emotional at the press conference. I was a little surprised by that.
Well, he's passionate, and I think he, in the big picture, it hit him because his team struggled the first 15 games of the SEC schedule, and then it really came on. And then down the stretch, as he kept saying, for that final 25 games, they played as well as anybody in the country was playing, and he knew that. Okay, and this is what he had hoped to see all year. And then he was seeing it. The pieces were coming together. The pitching and all this, that, and the other, and then to be so close, to have a extra inning game. And when you went to the 10th inning, you had jump on the mound and the batting order 1, 2, 3 coming to the plate. I mean, that's what you want in that desperate situation. It did not work out. And the biggest thing, I was telling some guys this last night, Ronnie, people are forgetting North Carolina's a damn good baseball team. ACC is a very good baseball conference, right below the SEC. And Carolina's seeded number 4 in the nation for a reason. They're good. And I don't know if they can win it all in Omaha. They might. We'll see. They got to get through the super regionals first, which half of them start today, half of them start tomorrow. By Monday night, weather permitting, we should have the 8 teams that'll be in Omaha. But anyway, I wasn't surprised by the emotion. It just showed people his passion and the fact that he knew that, man, this was a chance. And then, of course, he knew it would be West Virginia coming to Baton Rouge, who I think LSU would have just totally dismantled, in my opinion. It's easy to say that sitting here, but I don't know. But I think the passion was good, and I think from a recruiting standpoint, I think players like that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, he is ate up with baseball. It is his life. People have talked about it plenty. No kids. This is what he does. Those players are his kids, and you get a new set every year, right? Because half of them usually leave nowadays. But I love it as an LSU alum to see a coach, being passionate about a team and a program that I love. So I can respect that. And I think it's probably a little bit of what you said, Tommy. I think he also thought, man, we are close. Like, he realizes, man, if we get past these SOBs, this is a really good North Carolina team on there. I mean, we're playing well. Our pitching's like, I think he realizes, man, if we were close to getting back to Omaha, and you get there, you never know. Especially this year, it looks like it's going to be more wide open than normal. That was something else. So look, the future's bright with Brown and Milam and the abilities of like an Ethan Fry. I think you're going to have a Josh Pearson back as a veteran. Will Kling transfer? It just feels like 2 years in a row he struggled. He's not from here. He's East Coast, a lot of scholarship in him. I feel like, I don't know. Be interesting to see. Does Kling fight through it and stay? Do they believe in Kling that he can make an adjustment and go from being a 220 hitter who has really struggles with his plate recognition to being a 280 hitter? I don't know. Fry's the guy who gives you some versatility. Ethan Fry, he can play catcher. He can play outfield. He can probably play some first base. Does he stick around and fight through it? He was having a good second year and in the shoulder, and then ever since then, really not the same. I like he's from Louisiana. It's a different conversation when you got a Louisiana kid. You can give them less money, and it's their passion, it's their love. LSU beyond just playing college baseball. When you're from out of state, it doesn't always, especially far away out of state, it doesn't always translate that you want to fight through it. Where an in-state kid, hey, I'll stay and fight through it. So there's some big decisions. It's going to be very interesting. I'm sure LSU is going to be very active in the portal as well. But anyway, I'm going to get going here and just want to tell folks to come on out to the Baton Rouge Rougarou. We're back in action, Tommy, Tuesday and Wednesday at home next week. It's $2 Tuesday, $2 concession items, a number of them. And then on Wednesday, it's Win-Win Wednesday. All students get in free with their school ID, high school or college age kids. And then if the Rougarou win, you win. Everybody gets a free ticket on the way out the door. We'll give you a ticket for a future game. But tonight in Lake Charles, Saturday, Sunday in Lafayette at the Kenny and a Cane Cutter, Saturday, Sunday, Lake Charles Gumbo Gators tonight. You can watch it all on TexasCollegiateLeague.com or go to brrougarou.com. You can get to it through our link there as well. You can watch the game online, 7 o'clock first pitch. All three of those games. I'll be in Lake Charles tonight. Looking forward to it. Tommy, you and I will be on the radio tomorrow morning, 10 to noon on Sports Shorts Radio. I'll see you then.
All right, man. We'll be over at LeBaire Sportsbook for radio tomorrow morning. We hope that you can join us there. I appreciate the comment from Jamie, and then called a cat helicopter to dry the field. He saw that video. It's good stuff. Hey, look, I'm coming to you as I do on Wednesday and Fridays from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge, right down the street from Parkview Baptist Church and School. They started a lot of new lunch specials added to the menu. They got wings on Tuesday. You got $6.99 burger and fries on Wednesday. That's growing in popularity. That's every Wednesday. Had a brisket plate for lunch yesterday. Just kicking it up a notch here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Stop by, check it out. Get everything you need for the weekend with wine, bourbon, vodka, tequila, liquor, all your meat, all your seafood, everything at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge. Hey, don't forget tomorrow morning, Sports Shorts Radio, Hunter McCann, myself, Ronnie Ranch, Joel Davis, and who knows who else. 10 a.m. to 12 noon on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, live tomorrow morning from the Sportsbook at LeBaire's Casino and Hotel. Stop by and say hello. As we always tell you, please like and share this show. That helps everybody involved. Like and share this show, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or X. Check it out. Like and share this show. On behalf of Ronnie Rance and the entire crew here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, I'm Tommy Christ, and have a great weekend, everyone.